Alright, this video is for Biology 234, and we're going to be going over bacterial smears and how to heat fix a smear. Prior to staining bacterial cells, a bacterial smear is produced. A smear is a sample of bacterial cells in liquid that is spread thinly and evenly over a slide. A well-made smear should result in a single layer of cells with space in between, so caution must be used to avoid using too much culture. After smearing the cells onto the slide is allowed to air dry, and then the smear is heat fixed to the glass slide. Because the smear is air dried prior to the heat fixing, the cells become partially dehydrated, and this retains the cellular shapes and arrangements. If a smear is heated without air drying, there's a risk of damaging the cell shape due to rupture or lysis of the cells in the heated water. Heat fixing also serves to kill vegetative cells, denaturing proteins, and increasing the adherence of the cells to the slide. Recall that smears and wet mounts are disposed of in bleach water. Alright, so now we'll go over the procedure. Bacterial smears. Smears can be made from either liquid cultures or cultures on a solid media. Directions for both are given below. Due to the air drying step, it's important to keep on task and make all smears needed so they can air dry simultaneously. So you'll need 3 microscope slides, your TSA plate with culture, TSA plate with a positive control, a TSA plate with a negative control, and your equipment tray, and then your back to incinerator. So we'll be doing this from solid media. First, you'll want to gather all your materials and label 3 clean slides. Alright, so I grabbed 3 clean slides, and now we're ready to label them. So we'll put a spot that we're going to put our culture on, and then we'll label them at the bottom. I'm gonna call this one unknown 9. This one is gonna be E. coli. And then this one's going to be staph epidermidis, which will be positive and negative controls. So what we'll want to do, use a sterile loop to place a drop of water onto the labeled slide. Distilled water or tap water may be used. So I'll just grab our gram staining kit that has all of the different stains, and I'm going to use DI water and put 1 drop on each slide. And then use a sterile loop to, put on protective goggles. So I'll go put on some goggles. Alright, so we're at step 5. Using aseptic technique, use your loop to collect a small sample of bacterial culture. So I'll start with unknown 9. So I will use the back incinerator. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I will grab some of the culture. So this is unknown 9. I just grabbed some of the culture onto the loop, and we'll mix it into the water. You want the salts to disperse over the slide. And then we will sterilize our loop again in the back disintegrator. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we will grab the E. coli. Which looks like this. And just mix it into the water. And then we'll sterilize our loop again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we'll grab the Staph epidermidis. And this is what it looks like. And we'll mix it into the water. And then re-sterilize our loop. And then we'll just allow this to air dry, and then we will heat fix the smears. And then after we have heat fixed the smears, we'll move on to simple and gram staining. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so I made a second set of all the same bacterial smears that we just did, so that we can do both the simple staining and the gram staining. It looks like the first ones are dry, so it just looks kind of like dried milk or something. So you want to make sure it's fully dry before you move on to this next step. So this one is still a little wet, but there's quite a bit that is dry, and I'll just not look at that part when I look at it under the microscope. So now we are at step 11. Using a clothespin, pick up the air dried smear and heat fix the bacterial smear. So we'll grab a clothespin and clamp it to the side of the slide. And using a clothespin, pick up the air dried smear and heat fix the bacterial smear. Hold the slide 2 to 3 centimeters above the heat guard of your incinerator for 20 to 30 seconds. So we'll put it here, and then I'll just wait 20 seconds. And then we'll move on to the next one. And heat fix it. Then we'll move on to the next one and heat fix it. Alright, so it says, remember the heat guard can reach temperatures in excess of 400 degrees Fahrenheit, so don't touch the guard. After heat fixing, set the slide aside and allow it to cool for 1 minute. And then complete all the Same steps for all the different smears. And then once finished, move on to the gram stain. So I will let these cool and then I will heat fix this set, and then we will move on to the simple and gram stain.